Siberia is not just a place, it is a scale problem. A land so vast, so quiet, and so extreme that human presence feels temporary. Here, fire rises through ice. Ancient creatures emerge from frozen ground, and entire landscapes exist beyond roads, beyond cities, and beyond time. In this documentary, we journey across Siberia, not as a frozen wasteland, but as a living system, a place where geology, climate, and survival collide. This is the land that makes Russia more mysterious. Chapter 1: A continent of silence and survival. Siberia is larger than the United States and Europe combined, yet vast areas remain almost completely uninhabited. You can travel for days without seeing another person, not because no one explored this land, but because it resists settlement. Here, distance is not measured in kilometers, it is measured in endurance. In Oymyakon, the coldest inhabited place on Earth, temperatures drop to -67°C. Yet children play outside until -50°C. Life adapts to what science calls uninhabitable. Metal becomes fragile, breath freezes instantly, engines cannot be turned off. Yet life continues. Survival here is not heroic, it is routine. Much of Siberia is built on permanently frozen ground. In Yakutsk, buildings stand on stilts to avoid melting permafrost. Pipes run above ground in utilidors, entire cities engineered to float on frozen earth. Travel across Siberia follows strict, unspoken rules. Never travel alone. Never abandon a broken vehicle. Never underestimate the cold. Some highways stretch thousands of kilometers through empty wilderness. Help may take days to arrive. Here, cooperation is not kindness, it is survival. Chapter 2: Earth's Frozen Memory. Beneath Siberia lies permafrost tens of thousands of years old. It preserves soil, ice, and ancient life in extraordinary condition. Entire woolly mammoths have emerged from this frozen ground. Fur intact, skin preserved, last meals still in their stomachs. Siberia is not just cold, it is an archive. But the permafrost tells two stories at once, one of Earth's past, and one of its uncertain future. As the ground thaws, it releases more than fossils. Ancient bacteria and viruses, dormant for millennia, are awakening. Methane once trapped in ice bubbles to the surface. The frozen ground is speaking, and what it says changes everything. During summer, rivers act as supply routes. In winter, those same rivers freeze solid. They transform into temporary roads. Water becomes ground. Movement slows, but never stops. Chapter 3: Fire and Ice. On the eastern edge of Siberia, the land ignites. The Kamchatka Peninsula, a land of 300 volcanoes, 29 still active. Steam hisses through cracks in the snow. Geysers erupt beside glaciers. This region sits on one of the most active tectonic zones on Earth. Fire and ice exist side by side. In these volcanic landscapes, brown bears roam freely, gathering along rivers during salmon runs. At Kuro Lake, dozens of bears fish together, their behavior following rhythms older than history. Where Siberia meets the sea, it ends in violence. The Kuril Islands, a chain born from tectonic collision. Volcanoes smolder continuously. Land emerges and disappears in fire, ash, and ocean spray. Far above the Arctic Circle lies another world, the Putarana Plateau, a vast basalt wilderness carved by ancient volcanoes and sculpted by ice. Waterfalls cascade into deep canyons. Rare snow sheep survive in isolation. This is a world shaped by extremes. Chapter 4. Lake Baikal, the heart of Siberia. Lake Baikal, 25 million years old. Deeper than the Grand Canyon, holding 20% of Earth's unfrozen fresh water. In winter, its surface becomes glass. Cracks race beneath the ice with sonic booms. Methane bubbles freeze into crystal mounds that rise like sculpture. The lake is alive, even when frozen. Beneath Baikal's ice lives a species found nowhere else. The Nerpa, a freshwater seal, perfectly adapted to darkness and cold. Gulls patrol cracks in the ice. Fish surface. Life continues where logic says it should not. On Olkan Island, land, water, and belief merge. Shamans have gathered here for centuries. Prayer ribbons flutter against the sky. Cliffs rise from the ice like ancient monuments. This is not just geography, it is meaning. Chapter 5. Geological Anomalies. Between forests and snowfields, sand dunes appear where they should not. The Charasans, a 50-kilometer desert in the middle of the taiga, formed by glacial deposits. Hot in summer. Frozen in winter. A geological accident that never disappeared. Along major rivers, vertical stone pillars rise like ruins. The Lena Pillars, 100-meter limestone columns along the Lena River. Each layer recording vanished oceans. To the Yakuts, these formations are guardians of the land. In hidden mountain valleys, mineral-rich lakes form shifting patterns. At Lake Kayir, circles appear, fade, and reform like breathing land. Nothing here stays still. Chapter 6. The Human Thread. The Trans-Siberian Railway. 9,289 kilometers from Moscow to Vladivostok. Crossing 8 time zones. Built across permafrost and taiga, it remains the longest railway on Earth. Built through frozen swamps and mountains. It transformed isolation into connection. Towns followed the tracks, resources followed the trains. Siberia changed forever. The Kolyma Highway, known as the Road of Boneses, built by Gulag prisoners across mountains and tundra. Every kilometer tells a story of endurance and sacrifice. Traffic is light. Villages remain small. The road does not dominate, it negotiates. Some cities became centers of power, exile, and ambition. Irkutsk, the Paris of Siberia, rose from fur trade and exile. Akademgorodok, a Soviet science city built in the forest. Where researchers still study permafrost and space. Together, they represent modern Siberia. Resilient, complex, and evolving. Siberia is not empty. It is concentrated. Cold fire, water, and time converge here. This land does not invite conquest. It demands understanding. And long after the journey ends, Siberia remains.